always means protection. Tracking, I have my dog plots, I stretch out my long line, I give him 2 pieces of food. So each phase has a mood. So what do I mean by a mood? I want my mood in protection to be super aggressive. Like very aggressive. Where the dog comes up like I'm going to kill somebody. I don't want that mood in obedience. No different than like if my child is at a stained glass church in Europe, like a museum, and they're running up and down the pews, now they're in trouble. This environment should be what? A quiet environment. That's different than Disneyland. So my protection is more like Disneyland, my tracking is more like the stained glass window church. My tracking is, and my obedience is more like bowling. Golf. It's fun. If you guys love bowling, sorry. I just think it's my personality. But something that's fun, but it's not quite crazy roller coaster ride. So I'm trying to think of like each phase, how do I get that mental flow? So the dog's mood is important. What's the very first thing to change the mood like in obedience is what we're going over. They have to be good eaters. Most people think they have good eating dogs. They're not good eaters. Like it would be very interesting if I said, put your food right here and let your dog eat. And I'm not doing anything, just you'll be amazed how many dogs won't eat right here from a bowl. They're like, I have good food drive. Like you might have good food drive in the kitchen, in the crate, but you don't have good focus on the regular world. Same thing with the toy. So if I'm building toy dog drive like this with the dog, when do I want to end? Never here. Could you guys see her drive coming down out there? She was really into it, less into it. So when was she taken off the field? After her 4th bowl of ice cream, so to speak, when the drive was here. So that's the only thing I changed when she wants it most. So with a young dog, this might surprise you. My favorite play sessions with a young dog is 1 bite for 5 minutes. They don't out. They're just tugging me all around and jumping back. So no out. That is a good problem for a dog, rather than spitting it out. In fact, like you saw me with Slayer right here. I had to get onto him twice for what? Not outing. He was like pretty high drive. He's had 3 weeks off, so I had to get onto him. That's a good problem. He didn't want to let go. That thing's crack cocaine to him. Versus, say you love me, here's the toy. Say, are you having fun? No, I want. This is the last thing before we go to the next one. Can you guys picture this phrase? You want your dog to push you to do obedience, not you push them. Can you picture that? You want your dog to push you to do obedience. Not you're like, foos, say you love me. You want them to be pushing you for obedience. All right?
You build that up with the food?
I build it with the food and the ball. So if I don't have drive to want to be with me, go all the way back to the first part of the lecture. If the dog doesn't want to be with me, how can I do obedience? Then you only have negative obedience. The only thing you can do is what? Yank and crank.
Yeah.
Choke and stroke. That's it.
Yeah.
Say you love me. Say you love me. Good dog. Say you love me. Say you love me. Good dog. Well, those are the dogs that are always flat in trials. They always look miserable. They're always like down. They're never happy. And they're killed. That's how we used to do it in the old days. Yank and spank. Yank and... it was always just negative. I know, just wham. Or we can go into the motivational part where I did with the yellow lab. With the yellow lab, he didn't know any commands, but what was he doing? Pushing me. He was, and I'm like, I love you. He's pushing me. Versus me saying, like they said, can you use the e-collar to get him to want to be with me more? I'm like, this guy with the lab. And I said, why don't you show me? That's when he brought him over for the board and train. But I was like, you don't want to use the e-collar. Say you love me. Stop wanting to run away from me. You might get it. You might get avoidance behavior where they avoid running away. Well, I'll tell you what, it's never going to hold up and they're not going to be happy.
They're doing it out of fear, not love.
And they will never, and it won't hold up. First chance that collar comes off, first dog that is wise to a collar or a trial, it won't sustain it. I've seen it a billion times. All right. Is this next one?
No, I'm next.
Okay.